I created an AI marketing machine using Nano and I gotta say the results are looking absolutely fantastic. Today I'll show you exactly how I can automatically create all sorts of marketing in minutes so that by the end you can access everything for free using the links that I leave for you in the description. I will first demo the core functionalities of this app and then I will move on to a broad explanation of how the system works and the AI automation behind the UI. If you're new to the channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Kaiki Rivero and I help business owners understand and implement AI solutions that help their businesses scale. This channel is a place where I test and build all sorts of systems so that I can share my learnings and then you can develop in your AI journey. So with that out of the way, let's get right into it. This is the lovable interface where I prompted the entire thing without using a single line of code. This is the backend and inner end where I was able to manipulate all the data. And then this is the final product for the interface where I can make everything happen. So essentially what I'm going to be doing for this demo is I'm going to be turning on this system over here via this webhook. I know it looks complicated, but I'll run through everything so you understand the core functionalities of this. I can click test workflow and then this will be waiting for a trigger from the app in particular. Now, what I'll run through is that you can create your avatar essentially to be in your marketing campaigns or whatever kind of output that you want from the system itself, or you can just upload a file or a photo of yourself that will be integrated into everything. So I can go ahead and the first use case that I'll show you is of me generating a model that will be used for my marketing campaigns. So if I wanted to create one from scratch, then I could access this webhook over here and it will be created. But I just uploaded a photo of myself. You'll see the result of this in a second. And you can see I've just uploaded it alongside my list of other avatars. This one here is AI generated, which I used through this backend in end as well. Now what we can do is go back home and then we're going to click on the services. So we want to advertise our service because my business is a service, for example. What we can do is we can go out of all the avatars that we have selected and made over time. I can click the ape, which is what you just saw before. I can say that the service name is Renovators Inc., for example, and we are builders in the industry. And let's say that our target audience are homeowners with families between 35 and 50, okay? And let's leave all of this here in blank. The tone and branding that we want to position ourselves in is kind of friendly, we'll say. And then the brand logo that we want to display, I'll just put in the Blue Horizon AI logo, which is my AI agency. And we've just uploaded that there. That will be our building company. Now in the bottom here, and this is similar for all the other pages, is the options tab where we can actually choose what we get out of this run. And in this case, we can click video ads for social media. Now, I'm just going to make sure that this is running. We need to click it again because it timed out. But now what I can do is I can click generate marketing content and you'll see that we immediately trigger the services section of our workflow over here. Now, if we were just generating a simple image, we would go stop over here, but we are going to be generating a video. Anyway, let's get into that in a second. Right now, I'm in this loading screen over here, and in a second, we should pop up with a URL for us to actually watch the video. And from there, we would be able to post it online or something. I just ran the entire thing and the system disconnected for some reason. But you can see here in this entire run, we had a successful kind of, execution. And I can just go to the webhook here and then extract the URL that we were going to feed into the system anyway. But I'm not going to be paying for this because videos are super expensive. So anyway, we can just copy this into our browser and then this is the
Hey,
result.
busy parents. Kids destroyed another wall? Renovators Incorporated transforms chaos into castle.
As you can see, that is an amazing output right there. I'm not paying for that again. But since we're frozen the exact same screen we had before from this error, from this disconnection, I can just go with the exact same example, but just a flyer output as opposed to a video. We could go back into our end-to-end workflow, turn the whole thing on again. Obviously, we're in the services section, so we're going to see this trigger again. We're going to generate marketing content, and the run should be a lot quicker. And he'll still be just as impressed from that output as you were before. All right, see? So there you go. We can download this, and then as a result, we can see our logo into it. We can see the gorilla and some copywriting over there as our flyer for this marketing campaign. Now, since this is supposed to be a whole marketing app where you can do anything regarding to marketing, we should also consider content, right? So I built this entire section here for thumbnails where we can import the title of our video, the hook, so the introduction, and then we'll generate an entire thumbnail AI generated based off of those inputs. So I think this is really cool. I've got here my channel, and we can just click any of these random videos and we can extract exactly the title of the video along with the introduction to input into the system, and then we'll trigger the end-to-end backend so you can see the results there. All right, so let's just paste all of that over there. We can again choose one of our avatars. We can choose Kaiki, which is the one that you saw me upload just a second ago. We are using the YouTube format instead of the Instagram one. And from these layouts, we can probably, choose a big face or something. I don't think I use this feature here, but either way, we can turn on the inner-in backend, click generate thumbnails, and we are once again running the system, but this time we are in this content section. Notice here how we are using GPT image 1. I'll show you why in a second, but we are generating the background for the thumbnail, and then we use Nano itself to actually edit ourselves, so our avatar onto the result that GPT-1 produces. We can go back into our interface over here and just wait for the output on this tab. Cool, and as you can see here, we've got our output. The video was about prompting. The output of the thumbnail was about stop prompting wrong. This is actually great. This is better than most other thumbnails that you find out there. If you look back at some of my previous thumbnails, you definitely would know. But this is crazy, right? The all-in-one kind of application aspect of it really blows me away. Essentially, I've done my job over here. We can cross off demos. The only thing I didn't show you was creating the avatar itself, which is a simple request. I'm sure you've seen that all over YouTube. And products works the same way as the services, but I'll just explain the difference when I get to them in a second. But we'll first start with Lovable, which is where this whole thing, is started. I did write quite a bit on it just to make sure that I had the right kind of functionality behind it. But essentially what I've done here is I've asked the Lovable AI to review the entire code, all the summaries of it, specifically in a way that it would need to regurgitate or recommunicate that to another AI so you could replicate all of this yourself. So what I'll do here is instead of going through all these little like back and forth messages, I'll just go through this prompt itself. I'll leave it in the description for you to copy, and you can replicate the entire thing for yourself, okay? We are saying to create a marketing studio web application that generates AI-powered marketing content with personalized avatars. So it's a React-based SaaS, whatever. The core concept is that users create custom avatars, so human personas or mascots, and then use them to generate professional marketing materials across 3 main categories: product marketing, service marketing, and thumbnail design. The avatar builder is personas with types or mascots, with male or female neutral, customizable appearance, support for both uploaded and AI-generated avatars, avatar library for managing multiple personas. So this means that we use a Supabase backend to store all that data. And then out of the 3 content generation use cases, we have the products, which is a product name, description, target audience. So that's this over here, which I didn't manage to show you because it would have been too long of a demo. But essentially we can, again, choose the mascots and whatever. And we have this product information over here in the middle. The output are product markups or short and long descriptions, headlines, ad copy, and landing page sections, or video ads as well. The service use case is the exact same thing. The thumbnails is an input of a YouTube or Instagram title, hook, keywords, and layout preference, followed by character limits and then brand colors. We don't use the brand colors in the backend itself. The output is a custom thumbnail with optimized text layouts with brand integration. And then just a couple more things in this prompt. This is the content generation workflow. So this is the user experience, so quite important. The users fill out the specialized form for each use case. There's an optional avatar selection for personalized content. The form data gets processed through the Edge function. So this is when it gets sent to the webhook. That is a function within the app itself. The external webhook integration, so in handles the AI content generation. The results include images, videos, and text content. And then you have real-time project statuses tracking, so processing completed and failed, which the first one, you probably saw that one when it lost connection. And then the one other thing here was that the Supabase kind of stores all this data to keep track of the different users that it has and the different information that each of these users actually compile over time to actually keep track of everything, and so that you don't lose your progress, such as creating your mascots or avatars. So that takes care of the Lovable side of things. The front end really is immaculate, and it isn't structured in a way that you can manipulate all the data just from one webhook, which was my idea in creating this entire system here, which operates strictly off of this switch node here, depending on the use case that we received from the schema itself. So if we go down here, this is all the data that we received from Lovable itself. If we go to body, this is specifically what the user chooses to go with when it is going through the UI and the UX section to produce something. So then here we get the result of our current use case. So we got thumbnails in this case, and in this switch node, we map each of these use cases. So if it is services, or whether it is products, or whether it is thumbnails. We also have avatar generation here in case the user actually wants to generate an avatar. But essentially the switch node is the router through which we kind of put all the content through depending on what the user actually wants out of their input, okay? So in this case, we saw that we had put in a content, and then the result of this, where is it? was thumbnails. And then since we got thumbnails over here, we put in our content to extract the file. So through this entire block over here to process everything. And I'm not going to be individually clicking on these nodes and going into the specifics, otherwise this video will lose value and you kind of get caught up doing something else. But what this does is it uses AI to create the text that we need to prompt within the GPT image node. So that's essentially what we do here. I have a very long prompt to extract all the kind of interesting factors that come in from the hook itself. So anything from the video that the AI finds interesting, it tries to include that in 3 to 5 words in the thumbnail itself. And the output of this is simply a prompt. So we've got here, stop prompting wrong, which is the text that it wanted to come up with, which is exactly what we had over here, stop prompting wrong. So it's essentially prompting the generate image model, which from here we have this data output. We extract both the avatar image, so the image that I put in over here, so it's just loading there, as well as the output image from the AI, which we can view that. So we get a background and the photo that we put in ourselves. That is looking great over there. And essentially this merge node will combine all of those in our request to Nano Banana, which does a great job editing this photo into the background that GPT Image 1 generated. The reason we use GPT Image 1, by the way, is that it has a capability that Nano Banana does not, and it is able to create horizontal backgrounds, whereas Nano Banana can only create either square or fully portrait ones. So we can't edit the dimensions on Nano Banana. If we did, it would be much faster. But in either case, the Image 1 creates, way better quality images to go with. So I think I kind of like this balance. Then we convert that and then send it through to the webhook, okay? So a key concept that you can extract from the system alone is that you find a lot of these extract from file nodes mapped around the entire, workflow. And the reason I do that individually is that it expects individual data coming from the app, and it helps me, manipulate the data a lot better when we make the request to Nano Banana. And you'll see that each of them have different extract from file nodes because of the input of the user on the front end. So we have to kind of adapt from that based on their inputs. So if we go to products here, you see that we can expect the logo binary file to be uploaded, the avatar image file to be uploaded for the products, ad or whatever they want to generate out of that. And then also the product, right? Which is not the case for the services side of things. So that is the one key difference between the image generation side of things, how we extract the data. And then the other thing is how these two especially are prompted when we generate the output images. So I'm not going to run this part of the system. You get the idea. It's kind of like the same as the services, but we have a product involved. Just in this case, the inputs are different because we can have a brand logo, a product image, and then the avatar at the top. So we need to account for that using the nodes that receive different sorts of data. Essentially from this point, what we are doing, this is similar up here as well, which will help you understand, is we are prompting it specifically from the base64 data that we extract using those nodes from before. So these three over here. You can see that we're making a request specifically to Nano Banana. By the way, they give you tons of credit, Google, when making these requests, and Nano Banana itself is quite cheap to run, so you don't have to worry about any costs associated to this when you run it yourself. And anyway, I prompt this, I give it the base64 data that comes in from all the three nodes that I just showed you before. And I prompt it saying, you're a creative marketer, create an image of a world class, and then I map the use case, so it can be a flyer, social media post, video ads, whatever, that marketing campaign using the attached persona for my campaign using the product attached as well as the info below. And then the info below is all the details that I provide to it based on the product. Now this would not be, valid or very relevant to do in the services tab, which is why they are prompted in different ways. In both cases, we convert them to a file. And at the end here, we have an if node to see if the result of the webhook is specifically for video ads. Now this is mapped very incorrectly, which is good that I didn't try to do this demo. But we have the video ads here. And if we do go through our video ads, instead of sending it to the webhook as a response over here, we're going to now generate a video out of that. And what we do with this Anthropic model is we give it the exact same information that we gave to the Nano Banana model from the product information, and then we ask it to make a script that is 8 seconds long to generate a video out of. And this is the prompt that we use to generate the video using VO3. And this is the part that I like the most out about this entire system, is that the AI is able to prompt and follow through from these, particular use cases themselves. We don't have to worry about anything, which is really where the creative side of things and the autopilot kind of aspect really comes in. And then what we do once we generate the video is we wait 30 seconds, we get the video link if it has been generated from Replicate. I use Replicate, by the way, to generate this entire thing. I have my Replicate authentication. I made a video way back explaining how to do that with Veo 3, so I'll link it up if you don't already know how to do so. If it hasn't finished processing, then we go through that process again, we lip through. But if it has, then we send the outcome of that, which is the video URL, as an output into our front end, which we can copy and paste into our browser and then just watch the video from there. And I would say that it is a brief explanation of the entire thing that you need to know without going into like the nitty gritty stuff that, would kind of distract you. Essentially, this is what you need to know, and this is how the system works. If you want to tweak anything, then go for it, but it's not a very simple thing for me to go over individually. So with that being said, I hope that I did this second part over here quite well. But essentially, that is it for the video today. Like I said, everything is for free. You can replicate this entire thing yourself. If you need any help downloading it or trying to replicate it yourself or tweaking it, just comment down below and I'll help you as much as I can. But other than that, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.